Thou didst walk through the sea with thine horses, through the heap of great waters. When I heard, my belly trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered into my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he cometh up unto the people, he will invade them with his troops. So this is, very expressive fear by Habakkuk. My belly trembled, my lips quivered. When it says rottenness entered my bones, he's just like ready to just fall down and shake because his bones have no strength, right? And I trembled in myself. So this is total, utter fear of God bringing his wrath, and he's at the doors, that impending doom. Habakkuk knows it's real. The heathen at the time, especially at the time for future prophecy, they don't believe in God. They don't believe in the God of the Bible. They may believe in the Antichrist. They may believe in something else, but they don't think that this impending doom is actually going to come. But those that believe know. Habakkuk knows. And it ought to terrify anyone, the thought of God coming to pour out wrath. The world needs to hear this message. The world needs to hear about judgment and fire and brimstone and destruction, because it's real, because it will come, because it's not just a bunch of hateful people in the Baptist church talking about fire and brimstone. Look, it's real. God is real, and this is part of who God is, and some people need to be saved with fear. And they need to understand and hear the word of God and not just get a tap on the shoulder and tell everyone how much you love them. You got to tell them the truth and say, look, God is angry with the wicked every day. God is going to bring wrath and judgment, and you count your lucky stars that he's merciful and long-suffering right now because he hasn't poured out his wrath yet, but it's coming. Judgment is coming, and you need to hear, and you need to fear, and you better hope that you can find rest in the day of trouble. But there's only one way you can find that rest, and it's only through Jesus. He provides you that rest. Because if you don't have that, you don't have anything. And you won't stand on the last day. And when God pours out his wrath, you'll be fearful, but there's a point where God's not going to hear. Like in Proverbs chapter 1. Hey, because I called and you refused. Then they're going to call on me. But I'm not going to answer. The world now, as much as ever, needs to hear the truth. That's why you can't be positive only, because God's not positive only. Verse 17, although the fig tree shall not blossom, neither shall fruit be in the vines, the labor of the olive shall fail, and the fields shall yield no meat, the flock shall be cut off from the fold, and there shall be no herd in the stalls. Like this is the result. When God brings his judgment, this is the way things are going to be. You're not going to have your figs. You're not going to have the fruit. You're not going to have the oil. You're not going to have meat. You're not going to have the flock. This stuff's all going to go because God's bringing destruction. It's going to be disastrous. So what he's saying is, even though all of these things are going to happen, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will joy in the God of my salvation. All of this stuff is going to happen, but you know what? I'm still going to rejoice in the Lord. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord. And their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Just illustrating, again, how scary the wrath of the Lord is, that the fool will mock at and scoff at and just pretend like it's not a big deal. Well, we need to be reminded of that from time to time too. And we need to be reminded that God will bring his judgment one day, and we won't know exactly what day that is, but all the more reason to be motivated to reach people.